So welcome back to another episode of The Things We Want in FC25. This is the show where you guys send in your suggestions on the things you want to see in the next game. We talk about it and we'll see if EA delivers when the time comes. Today we're going to have some of my suggestions, but also some of the community suggestions as well. And of course, this show is a community show. This is the people's show. If you want a chance to get featured, leave a comment on the things you want to see in the next game, and I might actually talk about it in a future video. If you want to use the best players and dominate FUT, you're going to need a lot of coins. Check out today's sponsor, MuleFactory.com, who offer FUT coins with comfort trade. Use my link in the description and my code VAPEXFC5 for 5% off. Every episode we have the new face suggestion. We're going to pick a player each episode that has a high potential, young, but has a fake face in the game. Today we've got Rasmus Højlund, who plays for Manchester United. I believe this guy just turned 21 very recently. He has an 89 potential in the game and a 77 overall. Unfortunately, in the game he does have a fake face. In eFootball though, he does have a real face, so Konami is always giving these young players real faces before EA does. It would be nice in FC25 to have Højlund with a real face, especially because he's going to be a nice career mode talent as well. I still want to see major improvements to player career mode in FC25. Obviously, I'm going to talk about manager mode. We've got a lot to talk about there, but for today's episode it's going to be about the player career. Obviously, you know, the last couple of years for player career has seen a lot of changes, a lot of much needed improvements. The game mode was very stale for like a decade, so it wasn't very good. EA has slowly added new features in to improve the game mode, things like activities, dynamic moment cutscenes. This year they did add a player agent feature where you can sort of see your text messages from your agent, and they're going to recommend different clubs to go to, and each club has different objectives and requirements you need to hit in order to either renew your contract at your current club or change clubs, you know? If you start off in a low team and you want to move your way to the Premier League, you can do it, but sometimes it's not going to be easy. Some clubs will be available, some clubs will not, but I think some of the objectives can be a little unrealistic. Depends how you play the game, obviously. If they want 10 bicycle kicks in a season, I don't know if that's even a real objective. It might be hard to do that. Or, you know, if you're playing on legendary difficulty, it might be harder to score goals. It might be harder to even score volleys and pull off skill moves and stuff. I'm not sure how it is because I haven't played much player career mode if it's easy to achieve these objectives or not, but that's just what I think in my head anyway. Haven't seen too many complaints about it though. You do get recommended clubs as well. It's a nice feature, I guess, because you get to control your path, your destiny, but I still think there's not enough in player career mode to actually keep me coming back, and that's why I haven't really got into it still. I thought I was going to play player career mode so much more this year, but it's still not enough for me to consider playing this mode. I didn't really play it at all. I would say that there could be more done to the customization department, including the ability to scan your own face in the game. That would be amazing for a player career mode. Pull out your smartphone, scan your face, and then put it into the game. That's all you need, man. Sometimes you don't want to create these fake personas in this game. You just want to use your own face. And this year, of course, they did add tattoos in for left arm, left leg, and right leg. I guess that's a good bonus to have because we were asking for tattoos. But when you compare it to the Journey had neck tattoos as well. I guess they can just steal them from the Journey and put them into FC25 player career mode as well. But the main issue is that the new features they added in FIFA 23 are basically all menu based. So while they're good to have, they're just sort of menu based. There's not much to do. Once you click the button, you buy it, that's it. It affects a few points here and there, and it's done, it's completed. You don't actually see the mattress that you bought. If you hire a personal trainer, you don't even see the trainer, what he looks like. If you hire a social media producer, what's the point? Because there's no social media in the game anyway. All this menu stuff, even the investments, they get boring quickly. Like, what can you even do with the money you earn anyway? It's not like you can drive a car in this game around a neighborhood. And speaking of the neighborhood, I would love to see EA do something like NBA 2K and add in basically a FIFA neighborhood. That was a really cool feature in player career mode there, where it's like a neighborhood. You can run around, you can put headphones on, you can interact with other players around the world as well if you really want to, but it's also got like things like shops and that. There's even a gym room that you can run into. It's like a training facility, and you can do so many drills. Instead of doing like skill games as you're training, you could come into the gym, do weights, do running stuff on the treadmill, and try and grow your player like that as well. It's really, really cool. Like, I would dream of stuff like this in a FIFA game, having the Gatorade facility and stuff, even if it's just generic. At least have a training facility. You know, there's a lot more stuff they can do to it, and I think they just need to start copying NBA 2K a bit more. In NBA 2K, you actually visit a barber, and you can actually put your hair on the guy like that. Like, the barber sort of cuts your hair. I know it's a little thing, but it sort of helps because it gives you more immersion. It makes things look a little bit more realistic. Instead of just playing like through the menus, you actually have cutscenes like that, where you see the guy, and he'll give you a new haircut if you want. You can even change your hair color and stuff. There's also the arcade stuff where you can interact with different players. You can spin the wheel every day, I think. And this is NBA 2K20. I don't know if it's changed by now, but yeah, you could just see basic little things like that. You can go and get some clothes for your guy for the neighborhood as well. So you can see, you know, this kind of stuff is like a dream for FIFA players. You'll never see this until 2030. Imagine if you could also put tattoos on your guy by visiting the actual tattoo parlor in the neighborhood rather than just accessing it from the EA menus. You can even go to the NBA store and buy official jerseys, you know, off the court stuff, Beats headphones as well, watches, you know, so much stuff, new era hats as well. And then finally, you can even buy some shoes for your player as well. Imagine going to get boots from a shop in player career mode instead of just playing through the menus, you know. Sometimes you don't want a game to be just menu based. You want to have interactive stuff like that where you can see your guy looking at different boots and stuff. I know it doesn't make much of a difference, but you know, as you play, it sort of looks better than what we have already. So I'd like to see EA start copying NBA 2K a little bit more. I think there is potential for the game mode, but they need to get to the 2K stage, I guess. This one definitely needs to be said because I still don't know why EA removed it. They need to bring back the full match introductions on the next gen platforms. This one was suggested by Brendan in the other video. Their comment said return team intros as one of the suggestions. On the PS4, on the Xbox One, you still get the old school match day introductions where you see the warm-up cutscenes and then it pans over to the actual match day presentation where you can see the players line up, shake their hands. You might even get information about a certain player to watch, and then you'll notice that the graphics come up to showcase the team lineups and formations, and that makes up your match day introduction. Now, a lot of people love this in career mode, and unfortunately they got rid of it for next gen, and a lot of FC24 complaints were actually about the removal of this match day introduction. Let's see what EA has to say. This comes from a community manager called EA Leon SK, and it says, hello fellow managers. As you are aware, there have been some changes in the presentation of team lineups and formations in manager and player career mode. In previous titles, we noticed that many players tended to skip the extended intros, and in the process sometimes missing important information and context. In FC24, we shortened the intro scenes and presented that important information and context up front. Our primary goal with the changes was to provide players with a smoother and more streamlined entry into the action by creating a shorter, more engaging experience that still manages to build anticipation and atmosphere. While many players have welcomed this change, we truly value the passion our players have for the complete matchday atmosphere, so we will continue to gather feedback and suggestions and evaluate future changes. So let me know what you think about that. I can understand their points, but career mode people should have at least had an option to turn that on or off. And by the way, it's only next gen platforms that have this thing. The old gen consoles where a lot of people still play still have those long intros, so I'm sure there's people that skip it on there. Why keep it on there as well? Who knows? Next up is a comment from Victor, and it said commentary continuity in career mode. During matches, commentators should mention who the current Ballon d'Or winner is, especially if he's in your starting lineup or is handling the ball. Same thing if you win Manager of the Month. It gives more meaning to these awards, like the game actually recognizes your achievements. Yeah, I guess that would be a little thing to add, but it would be nice as well. If you've got the Ballon d'Or winner in your team, I think it would be pretty cool to hear the commentators mention that. And also if you win an award like Manager of the Month, it would be nice as well to hear the commentators talk about that. They only need to record an extra couple of lines for these kinds of things, and it would help improve commentary in the game.